Author's intent. I'm not lying about wanting to be converted back to Christianity, but I think I probably have a better chance of walking on water than returning to the fold. So I ask myself, why write the book? First of all, I would like to point out that I didn't want to. I sent the first little bit as a letter to a Christian relative, but during the lack of response, I thought about it more and the list of concerns grew. So I tried to get a response from some Christian friends. Silence, pity, and the list expanded again. So I then wrote it as a blog post, hoping the whole entire world was a big enough audience to get a response. I was hoping for some compelling responses that would convince me to take it down. My blog was small, so I only had a few hundred readers, but still, no one addressed my concerns, though many of them expressed their concern for my soul. And I started to wonder, are these concerns too stupid to address? Or are they so compelling there's no response? Perhaps you can see my black and white religious training at work there. The list expanded again and again, ballooning into 20 posts, each of which I sent to prominent Christians in my Facebook feed, always with the same curious tone, always assuming I was one response away from seeing the error of my ways. Each step of the way, the few Christian responses were so universal they could have almost seemed coordinated had I not already lived in that world and remembered giving the same unprompted response to the others. I'm really sorry to hear that. I'll be praying for you. At this point, these objections have grown so large they seem insurmountable. But my inner evangelical adds, but God's a big God. And I even agree, but not in a way that would make him happy. But I also feel like I honestly don't want to deconvert any current Christians, so I've spent a lot of time wondering why I'm writing. In times like this, I look deeply and honestly into my heart to listen for the embarrassing or painful truths I don't want to hear that resolve the conundrum. It's a prayer of sorts to a power that is higher than any conscious me to impart what I would call wisdom and a peace that passes my current understanding. As it always does when I listen patiently, my heart spoke. First, I don't necessarily want to change their minds, but I love them and I want to be their friend. But I know we can't be equals as long as they think my soul is captured by the devil, and I know they will pity me as long as they are sure that they are the only ones with eternal life. I don't want to deconvert them, but it seems like their worldview requires at least a low-level hum of condescension that affects our ability to be good friends. So I'm torn between wanting to leave them alone and wanting the friendship I idealistically imagine that we could have. Second, I've benefited from other stories, so I feel it's only fair that I add mine to the larger body of flawed and honest contemplations. As I've shared parts of these thoughts with other deconstructors, they seem to have found resonance and validation through my process, so at least part of my motivation is to offer my story as a wormhole through the struggle of deconstruction for anyone toiling away at that. Lastly, after 39 years of being told my thoughts and questions were a paradoxical mix of childishly simple and dangerously sinful, and after 39 years of following the demand to refrain from voicing my concerns, this book is a symbolic act of rebellion, proof to myself that I've taken my voice back and that being honest doesn't make me wicked. The truth is, I stifled these thoughts for a long, long time, because I could sense that Christians would reject me for such thoughts. But after they rejected me anyway, I figured I might as well live honestly, something I couldn't really do as long as my highest priority was staying a Christian.